This is Brian G, the EVOG, and you're joining me here for Collection Day as EV number 9 over the last 11 and a half years, dating back to Valentine's Day 2013. This behind me is EV number 9 in the EVOG household. Full disclosure, this one isn't mine. This is my son's first new vehicle, and it's his first EV. This is a 2025 Chevy Equinox with all-wheel drive. So the first thing you'll notice is that this Chevy Equinox EV has the blackout package. So it's got the black bow tie. This is what they call Summit White. And this is riding on 19-inch wheels, which have a pretty distinctive look with the machined finish to them. Matches up with the chrome along the bottom there, as well as the chrome roof rails. And the blacked out lettering, obviously with the exception of the E, which are the 3 blue bars there to indicate EV. Again, blacked out lettering, blacked out bow tie. And there's the beautiful light bar. There we go with a nice light bar across the front, and then you've got the headlights down there. Really, really nice EV, and Chevy is doing everything they can with incredible lease deals on this vehicle. So I will get into a lot of the detail of the lease deal, all the numbers, and give you a sense of how he ended up with this vehicle. Hey, so this is Brian G checking in from the future to give you a walkthrough of the numbers on our 2025 Equinox EV 2LT trim, straight from our Monroney sticker. So the first thing you'll notice is that this vehicle was built and sourced primarily in Mexico, with a few of the components coming from South Korea. It has a base price of $33,600, which comes with a pretty lengthy list of standard equipment. That standard equipment includes 150 kilowatt charging of an 85 kilowatt hour battery. It also has an onboard 11 kilowatt charger. Then on the inside of the vehicle, it's got a 17.7-inch infotainment touchscreen. The last couple of things I'll mention in terms of standard equipment are the LED lights, both for the front and rear, as well as a really long list of standard safety features, as you can see listed here if you want to pause the video. One thing I'll point out as far as the long list of safety features is the adaptive cruise control is not working. There's actually a recall on this vehicle to bring it into the dealership to have this updated via software. Why they can't do it with an OTA, as you know, Tesla or Rivian would do, that's part of my concern with going the GM route. Hopefully over time we'll start to see more and more of their updates being done OTA. Now, we also have $12,570 in options on this vehicle, starting with $3,300 for the all-wheel drive system. This is typically a single motor front-wheel drive vehicle. In this configuration, we've got all-wheel drive with 2 motors. The other big option we have on this vehicle is the convenience package for $8,300, and that brings in an automatic 8-way driver's power seat, as well as heated front driver and passenger seats, as well as heated steering wheel. It also includes the HD surround camera setup, along with traffic sign recognition. Plus, there's another roughly $1,000 or so in additional options that are largely dealer installed. Those include all-weather mats, a dual level charger for AC charging at home, which is currently out of stock, as well as the dealer installed blackout package. The last thing on here is just under $1,400 in our destination fee, and that brings us to our total of $47,565. All right, so let's go to the spreadsheet so we can take a look at all of this in detail. On the top left, we have all of the vehicle details, right? As I said earlier, it's an Equinox EV 2LT all-wheel drive, and here you'll see the base price as well as all of the different options that we just walked through on the Monroney sticker. Now, this vehicle also comes with some terrific incentives. We talked about the $7,500 tax credit that is federally funded. And even though this is a lease, there is a lease loophole that allows you to leverage those $7,500 as a capital cost reduction on the lease. Chevy's also, it's not just Chevy, it's GM. They're also offering what they call a loyalty bonus, which is $2,500 for existing Chevy owners. There's also a conquest incentive, so that basically if you have any other non-GM vehicle registered at the same address, you get $1,500 off. And as Costco members, we also get $1,000. So we don't qualify for the Chevy loyalty bonus, but we got everything else, which was $10,000 in incentives, bringing our price down from $47,500 and change down to $37,500 and change. Now, our son also had a trade-in, right? A 2013 Buick Regal with about 57,000 miles on it. The payoff on that loan, because this is a vehicle that was bought, I don't know, about 2.5 years ago, was about $13,100. The trade-in value we got on that car was $6,500, which left negative equity of about $6,600 that needed to be rolled into the lease. So even with the negative equity, we're now looking at just over $44,100. The residual on the lease was roughly $25,000, and so the 36-month lease was based on roughly $20,000, $19,000, $20,000. So the all-in lease payment with fees and taxes and so on was just under $600, which is the budget our son was looking to hit. If your all-in out-the-door monthly payment as a percentage of the total vehicle price is less than 1.5%, then you're looking at a good lease deal. If it's 1.25 or less, that's a great lease deal. And if it's less than 1%, then it's, an amazing deal. So in this case, even with $6,600 in negative equity rolled in, we're looking at a 1.25 lease factor. And so we feel like this was a really, really good deal. And those were all the numbers. If you see anything here that looks a little wacky, or if you've got questions, by all means, post them in the comments below. Now, let me take you back to the video. Fast forward a little bit, let's say 1 month into ownership, so I can tell you about the experience to this point. On the last day of 2024, which was almost exactly a month ago today. I helped our son lease this vehicle for 36 months. It's his first new vehicle and his first EV. I've been driving it for a little over 100 miles. The vehicle has just under 1,000 miles, and most of that were put on by our son. But he was kind enough to swap with me this vehicle for our Model S for the last just over a week, just so I can get familiar with the ins and outs of the Chevy Equinox EV, see what I could learn about the software stack, driving dynamics, and so on. Since I'm driving, what I'm going to start with is the driving impressions. And this vehicle drives just fine. I mean, it's got an independent suspension, right? It's not an air suspension like I have in my Model S, but it's very comfortable. It soaks up bumps and imperfections in the road just fine. I absolutely adore the steering wheel in this thing. It is the perfect size. I mean, again, I'm 6'6", 240, so I've got relatively large hands, but it just feels comfortable in my hand. We do have heated steering wheel and heated seats in the vehicle, so it is super comfortable from that standpoint. But this steering wheel, it just feels perfect in your hand. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. So that's the first thing that I really like. And by the way, I'm driving behind the new EX90 from Volvo. Beautiful looking 3-row SUV there. So that's the first thing I like. The second thing that I really, really like about this vehicle is the one pedal driving. The one pedal calibration on this Chevy Equinox EV is perfect, at least from my perspective. I almost never have to apply the brake. Once I take my foot off the accelerator, the vehicle starts to slow down and it will come to a complete stop without me having to hit the brake. So really love that aspect of it. The other thing that I like is the fact that it's Android Automotive, and so I've got access to a Google Assistant that's a part of this, so that I can just tell it, hey Google, navigate to Northwest Golf Course.
Sure, Northwest Golf Course.
And that's it. It will navigate me there. If I were going someplace where it was further away and required charging, the route planning is such that it would include any charging stops that I need. It would tell me how long I needed to stay there, stay to charge when I leave, and so on. So the software in here, being Android Automotive with the Google Assistant, is really, really good. The other thing that I'm really impressed by are all of the safety and other features that are included in this vehicle with a base price of under $35,000. Base price on this vehicle is actually $33,600, and you get a ton of features with it. So really like that aspect of it as well. And I will give you a little bit of a tour of the software in here from an infotainment standpoint, so that you can get a feel for that. But really, really nice. The fit and finishes all around the vehicle are pretty nice. I am curious to know what questions you guys have about the Chevy Equinox EV. With the Chevy Bolt no longer being on sale, this is now the least expensive new EV that one can buy or lease here in the US. And as I said, there's a ton of value in here that Chevy GM is providing. So, a ton of value for money. This particular vehicle is in the same class as the Tesla Model Y, and I think it provides a really good alternative to that vehicle. In terms of getting back to the driving experience, what you're hearing there with those beeps is the fact that I left my turn signal on for too long, and it beeps at me to let me know, hey, you left the turn signals on. So again, nice little feature there. It does recognize speed limit signs on the road and will alert you to any sort of speeding that you're doing above and beyond the posted speed limit. It will also let you know when stopped at a stop sign or stop light, when traffic in front of you moves, that hey, if you're looking at your phone, the traffic is moving again and you're able to continue driving. So just little creature comforts like that, I think, continue to add to the value proposition that is this vehicle. It's a two-row vehicle, pretty comfortable seating in the back, as you'll see in a moment here, for 5 adults. This is a bespoke EV platform, and so there's no transmission tunnel down the middle. So there is the opportunity to put an adult in that middle seat in the second row and truly carry 5 passengers in this vehicle. So again, really love that aspect of things here with the Chevy Equinox EV. But let me show you around. All right, so meet our Chevy Equinox EV. This is a 2025 2LT. This is an all-wheel drive specification here. And as you can see, we have a front-facing camera right there under the Chevy bow tie. We've got these carbon fiber accents built in here and a little bit of diamond look to that front fascia there. And all the way down at the bottom, we've got some air ducts there to perform a cooling function on that front motor. This vehicle is dual motor, so it is all-wheel drive, and we've got stock 19-inch wheels with some aero effects in them. These are 245 55 R19s, which I think look pretty good. We did get the blackout package on this, so as you probably noticed from the front view, the Chevy bow tie is actually a black bow tie, and the lettering on the vehicle are also black, with the exception of the E, which has the 3 blue lines indicating this is an EV. You come around to the back, see the light bar that goes all the way across, again, black Chevy bow tie, blacked out lettering on this one. And one of the features that I'm not sure my son's turned on is with the key in my pocket, there's a function where if you stand at the rear here, it will actually open up, but it doesn't look like he's got that feature turned on. So in a moment, I will open this up and give you a sense of rear trunk space. But let's take a look at the front trunk and see what we've got there. But before we do that, I'll show you that this is the charge port. Obviously, J1772 there and CCS1. Don't love the fact that it's cut into that front quarter panel. Would have loved to have seen that better integrated. But I think all in all, it's a pretty good looking compact SUV. But as big as the nose is, which is it's not huge, it's a good enough size there. We don't have a front trunk. And really the only way to access that is to come in here, double pull this guy, and let's go take a look. So it almost looks like it's got an engine in here. So total miss there, but this is true of all vehicles built on the GM Ultium platform. They just did not design them in such a way as to give you space for any sort of front trunk up here in the front. But it's that easy to get it closed up. So let's go around and take a look at the type of trunk space that we have here in this vehicle. All right, so one of the options that came with this vehicle is this all-weather set of mats, both for the interior as well as back here in the trunk, including those that you see here that cover the back of the seats. But very spacious trunk here. Well, it's time for the all-important golf equipment test to see how spacious the trunk on the Chevy Equinox really is. Tons of room back here, but let's see how well my golf equipment fits. I'm going to put my shoes right up front, grab my clubs, put them in diagonally. No problem, fits great. And my pull cart still have a significant amount of room there. So tons of room in the trunk of the Chevy Equinox. Let's see how it closes. There you go. Got some cubby space over here in the corner. Here we've got a 12-volt cigarette lighter style outlet here. We've got some tie downs, one here and one over here. There's a spot here for a cargo shelf, but this vehicle did not come with it. We've got some lighting and pretty decent room here. Right? We can also fold these things down to get even more space. I mean, that is quite cavernous. We come in here to the second row. Right, I'll go ahead and fold this back up. My son and I both drive with the seat all the way back. So I'm going to go in on the other side where we've hopefully got a little bit more of a normal person size front passenger position. So you can see with my 6'6" frame, I can fit in here relatively comfortably. I've got pretty good headroom. So decent second row experience here. We've got a couple of USB-C ports there, a couple of vents, and right here in the center console, this is actually quite spongy and soft, along with some cup holders. So pretty decent room here in the second row, as I've talked about. Now you can see in the front there, we've got some blue accents on the door card, front vent there on the center console, and repeated over here. So that really does, I think, look pretty good. And we've got a pretty nice size 17.7-inch infotainment screen up there, which I'll get to, along with an 11-inch driver display. And there's that nice comfortable steering wheel I talked about earlier in my opening. So let's move up front and take a look at that. Again, we've got the same blue accents on the second row doors, which I think looks really good, complemented by the same blue stitching on these vegan leather seats. Before I go into the front driver's seat here, I did want to point out that this vehicle is equipped with these chrome roof rails, and then you can purchase the crossbars if you're going to be using the top of the vehicle for cargo. I don't recommend that with an EV, given the type of impact to range that it has. But this is also one of the things that I don't like about this particular spec. It does not have either a glass roof or sunroof that opens. But again, driver door, pretty good materials here. This is soft touch up here. These are plastics, as you might imagine. Soft touch here again. And then the lower end of things is more hard plastic. All right. So no start button, foot on the brake, turns it on. Okay, starting with the driver display, we've got a number of different options for how this gets to be configured. I like to have Google Maps in the driver display, but and when you do that, over here on the left is where we'll have all of the driving information, state of battery, state of charge. One of the things I like is this vehicle, as you're driving, it will actually show where you're using kilowatts and where you're regenning kilowatts back into the battery. So that's nice to see. This is our adaptive cruise indicator there. But if you don't like the map, this is another option that is available to you that will put your media over there on the right and just give you an open road in front of you. This is yet another view that's much more simplified, where all it's giving you is temperature in the top right and your driving information in front of you. Got a little bit of a happy medium here where it gives you date, time, and temperature on the left, media on the right, and speedometer and power gauge in the middle. This is yet another option where it gives you the power output and input on the right, day, date, time, and temperature in the middle, and then the power usage over there on the left, and then back to the maps. Comment below to let me know which one of those options you might prefer. For me, It's definitely the maps, but love the configurability there. On the steering wheel itself, you've got your cruise control settings here. You've got voice command here, as well as your audio. This one is for the heated steering wheel and to change the configuration of the driver's screen there. So, coming over here, this pretty big 17.7-inch touchscreen does give you, as I said, Android Automotive is the operating system here, but it allows you to set up your Google profile, which is good. What I don't like is currently there isn't, at least that I found in this vehicle, any ability for me to tie my driver's settings, so my seat position, side mirrors. Um, there's no way to save those settings to my profile. So as my son and I go back and forth in this vehicle, we have to manually every time set the driver's seating position and mirrors and so on because it's not linked to your profile. Obviously, that's a miss, but hopefully it's something that they can rectify with an over-the-air software update at some point down the road. But as you can see here from the home screen, I've got vehicle status, I've got multiple drive modes, normal, sport, snow, ice, and then my mode is one that you can configure. Another thing I don't like here is that it doesn't make it easy for you to go back to where you just were, right? So I've got to come back to uh, hitting the home button there, but we've got the Google Assistant here, Play Store, which allows you to download additional apps. Charging is one that I don't love so much right now. I'm going to put the vehicle in park so we get more of that menu. Part of what I don't like at the moment about this is the fact that we just switched to time of use charging, and it does not work well in terms of telling the vehicle to start charging at a specific time and stop charging at a specific time. What it does is it allows you, if you say charge later, it allows you to specify the time by which the vehicle needs to be ready or stop charging. But it will, on its own, determine when to start charging depending on the charge limit that you set. And that is problematic with time of use because I want it to start at a specific time and end at a specific time, regardless of the charge limit that I set. Now, you do have the ability to do preferred charging times, which allows you to set up a schedule, which I've tried to do. The issue I have with that, and you'll see it indicated here, right? Your vehicle will use this schedule to reach your target charge level by the scheduled time. But this is the problem I have. If your vehicle can't reach the target charge level within these times, it will also charge outside of the schedule. I do not want it to charge outside the schedule. And so I've got to do manual math in my head to know that if I'm only going to charge from 12 to 4, this vehicle with our 40 amp charging setup in our garage um, will gain about 27 miles per hour. If it's charging for 4 hours, 27 times 4 is 108. And so what I've got to do is then when I plug in, before I plug in, I need to calculate how many miles do I have currently indicated, add 108 to that, divided by the 307 mile range that this all-wheel drive version has to determine the percentage, and then I've got to go back and set the charge limit to whatever that percentage is. So it's just not an elegant solution or experience, right? So definitely don't love that. The camera stack is not bad. You've got this standard view, as this would indicate here, and we can toggle from there to an overhead view, right? And we can go from front view to rear view for standard overhead. Uh, there is a curb rash view, is what I would call this one, where it shows you, in this case, I'm seeing the two left and right rear wheels, and those would be the left and right front wheels. So it gives you some options here with a standard view, an overhead view, and your curb rash view. So camera stack is pretty good. You can get the Alexa assistant enabled if you'd like. Ambient lighting gives you a number of different options here if you want to customize that. Again, there's no way to quickly go back. I've got to come all the way back to home. There's your climate settings. This vehicle does have a Wi-Fi hotspot, which is something we're seeing in more and more vehicles. Um, Although Tesla doesn't seem to want to go down that path. So would love to see more and more of this. I actually haven't used it in this vehicle just yet. And then your audio options, you have the option of Bluetooth from your phone. We famously do not get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Android Auto being different from this Android Automotive operating system. But you do have Spotify, and you do have the ability within the Play Store to download other options like YouTube Music and so on. So I'm okay with that, leveraging Bluetooth for sound. And we've got a few more options here. You can download Waze from the Play Store. I think the vehicle came with that, and we actually didn't have to download it. You got Spotify, My Chevrolet. Controls just gives you access quickly to, and you can access controls from here as well. But it gives you dome light, power window lockouts, cameras. You see the stack here, and a little bit more there in terms of door and window operations. Within drive and park, you can turn traction control on or off, blind zone steering assist, as well as one pedal driving. You can massage that to your preferences. So that's essentially the infotainment system there. There's a couple of things that I'll go back and show you here within settings, right? So you've got different connections. In terms of vehicle, we've got our audio settings, drive mode customization. Teen driver is an interesting option there, given the price point of this vehicle starting under 35K. There is an option to do buckle to drive, where the vehicle will not drive unless or until you buckle your seatbelt. Collision and detection systems. This vehicle has a seat alert where it will vibrate your seat either on the left side, right side, or right in the middle, depending on the alert that it's giving you. And as you can see here, we've got adaptive cruise to go notifier, right? That's something that I talked about earlier. If there's a bike cyclist coming, um, it will give you a heads up about that, lane change alerts, and so on. So all of the safety features are here, and pretty much all of this stuff is standard. Object approaching from the rear. So it actually saw that pedestrian approaching from the rear, even though the vehicle is in park. So as I said, a really nice um, technology stack that you get with this vehicle. Power locks, remote locks, and then there's transport mode, which I'm not going to get into. What else? Yeah, I think that's just about everything. As you can see, the vehicle has its own 5G connection there that it's able to use to provide Wi-Fi, and we've got both touchscreen HVAC controls along the bottom, as well as physical buttons down here for HVAC controls. So that's a quick walkthrough on the interior. As I said, I really like the different accents. This being an LT trim, we've got the blue accents. The RS trim actually has red accents here instead of where we've got the blue. So that's a quick walkthrough on the vehicle. We do have actually a control here behind the steering wheel, a paddle, to increase regen on demand. I've already got regen, as you saw, set to its highest setting. And also back here are controls to, on this side, increase the volume. Over here, I can change the track that's playing. So that's a quick and dirty look at the infotainment. Down here, we do have a wireless Qi charger. If I move my sunglass case, you can see that we've got a couple of USB-C ports there. These are our cup holders. And interestingly, the center console opens up this way. So not really showing a ton of love to the passenger, but you can take this tray out and see that it actually goes much deeper over here. And we also have this area under the console where my son's got his inverter plugged in. It's a little bit of a miss that the vehicle does not have a 110 outlet anywhere in it, and so that's the workaround. You just get a power inverter and you plug it into that 12 volt outlet, and problem solved. It does have a glove box. Not much to write home about here. It's relatively small, but it's where we keep all of our paperwork. It is OnStar enabled, and that is not something we'll have to worry about paying for over the course of this 36-month lease. So that's a quick walkthrough. Again, I don't love the fact that there's no glass overhead. It does feel a little bit darker in here with the dark interior and no sunroof, but that's something that I think we can definitely live with. So there you have it. That's an introduction to EV number 9 in the EVOG fleet. Let me know what you guys think of this Chevy Equinox EV. I think it's great that we've got wonderful, affordable option like this. Let me know what questions you have down in the comment section below. If you found any of this helpful, please share it, and let me know if there are other things you'd like me to compare this to, whether it's our Volvo XC40, the Model Y, or any other vehicles. I've already reached out to my friend Adam from Adam's Everything EV about comparing this to his Honda Prologue, because we were this close to buying a Honda Prologue before we decided on this vehicle, because it was less expensive for my son and had a little bit more pep and driving performance with this all-wheel configuration. So comment below, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.